This video will cover how the EYFS profile has changed, its purpose, principles of assessment, and evidencing your judgments. The deadlines for the profile to be completed and submitted to the local authority is the 30th of June, and the deadline for the local authority to return the data to the DFE is the 29th of July. So let's begin with how the profile has been improved. As part of the early years reforms, the early years sector gave feedback on the EYFS profile and the early learning goals. This feedback included the profile should stay but be improved to make it more useful and efficient. There should be more trust in practitioners' professional judgment, and less evidence gathering, which practitioners found time-consuming and stressful. Feedback also highlighted the ELGs needed to be clearer and more in line with Year 1 expectations. And finally, the ELGs needed a stronger basis in child development. So what has changed? The early learning goals have been revised so that they are clearer and more detailed, as well as supporting a smoother transition to Year 1. There are also more examples included in the early learning goals to help practitioners with judgments. The exceeding judgment and statutory local authority moderation has been removed and aims to help reduce workload around evidence gathering. Now, what is the purpose of the EYFS profile? The EYFS profile is meant to be a reliable and accurate assessment of a child's development at the end of the EYFS. Practitioners use their professional judgment to make these assessments based on their knowledge and understanding of the children in their care. The profile is designed to help support a successful transition to Key Stage 1 and helps to inform discussion between EYFS teachers and Year 1 teachers, allowing Key Stage 1 teachers to better understand children's development and learning needs, as well as inform parents about their child's development. Now we understand its purpose, it's also useful to keep in mind what the ELGs and EYFS profile are not for. The EYFS profile is not an accountability measure for schools, and it is not a test to see if children have passed or failed. And the ELGs are not a curriculum, and there should not be excessive tracking against them throughout the year. Now, let's explore how to accurately assess children. Reliable assessment will be based on your knowledge of children and on your understanding of what a child remembers, knows, and can do daily. Your assessment will also be summative. When assessing against the ELGs, you should look at the whole description for each goal to decide the best fit for a child. Assessment should also take into account different perspectives, like the child's perspective, their parents or carers, and any other relevant adults. Assessment should also be inclusive. When assessing against the ELGs, it's important to consider children's interests, their needs, and backgrounds to accurately assess their development and outcomes, including children with SEND and EAL. Assessment should also be underpinned by a broad curriculum and effective pedagogy. Assessment cannot be effective unless children have been taught well and are able to demonstrate their learning and development. Now let's consider what can be used to evidence the profile judgments. A practitioner's knowledge of what children can do is enough to make an assessment. Proof of children's level of development with physical evidence is not needed. To help support practitioners, schools should not have any demanding evidence requirements in their assessment policies, so they can spend as much time as possible with children supporting their learning. Practitioners can use any form of record keeping they find useful. There is no obligation for the amount of record keeping needed, and evidence is not required. If you would like more information and support on the EYFS profile, you can find our other videos which cover topics such as moderation, reporting to Year 1 teachers and parents, and much more in the links below.